When I began our evolution course, I knew we would have to understand natural selection, but I did not realize I didn't really understand what natural selection was at all. I always understood natural selection to be the survival of the fittest, that the strongest, best fit organisms survive to pass on their genes to the next generation. It turns out that that is not the case at all. It shouldn't be survival of the fittest, it should actually be survival of the good enough, as it is the more accurate description of natural selection. Not every species has to be the fittest to survive. Using survival of the good enough is more accurate because most species aren't the strongest or the best. They are just able to survive long enough to be able to reproduce. Survival of the good enough relates to natural selection, as this survival is what drives evolution. Those species that are able to survive long enough to reproduce will have their genes passed down to the next generation, and then those genes will be passed on to their offspring in the generation after that, and so on and so forth. These offspring can experience mutations, like how one of the offspring produced in the third generation is yellow, unlike its parents. Natural selection happens over multiple generations, unlike our next topic of learning. So let's move on to our next topic.
Created using Powtoon.